This is Matt Hurt at Obsessive Viewer on Twitter.
This is Ben Sears from themoviestate.com.
And this is ObsessiveViewer.com's The Obsessive Viewer Podcast. Hello and welcome to The Obsessive Viewer. We're a movie and TV podcast that covers a specific topic, be it genre, trope, movie, or show each episode. You can find more of our work at ObsessiveViewer.com and more podcasts presented by Obsessive Viewer at ObsessiveViewer.com/podcasts. And if you'd like to support what we do here, you can become a patron at Patreon.com/ObsessiveViewer, where we have several different reward tiers. For supporting us on Patreon. At the $1 level, you'll have access to over 150 exclusive B-roll episodes recorded after most of the podcast episodes that we record. And at the $2 a month level, you get that plus TV and TV review and reaction episodes, as well as book reactions. I'm currently working on a long gestating project on The Green Mile by Stephen King. That should go up pretty soon, but I'm also doing episode reviews of Chapelwaite and Foundation, and soon I'm going to be doing Invasion at some point. So you get all of that at the $2 level. And then at the $5 level, you get everything that I've said, plus movie commentary tracks and what I'm calling Patreon Potpourri, which are just little 45-minute to an hour-long episodes where I just record my thoughts about movies that I've watched recently. I currently have 5 Patreon Potpourri episodes up there now. That's at the $5 level. And then finally, at the $10 level, you get all of that, plus early access to podcast episodes and previously unreleased content. And again, that's at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer, and everything that we make on Patreon goes toward paying the fees to keep the podcast running. So it is greatly appreciated. So check that out, patreon.com/obsessiveviewer. I'm your host, the aforementioned Matt Hurt, and with me today is contributor and recurring co-host Ben Sears, who just recently launched his own website, themoviestate.com. Ben, how is it going? And how's it going?
Wonderful.
Nice. And so you launched your own website.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It'll have all kinds of movie reviews, TV reviews. I'm hoping to do some interviews,
nice.
Hopefully as often as I can. We'll see. Special features. We've got some projects in the works, hopefully nice. In the near future, kind of like what they do over at Midwest Film Journal, kind of
nice.
Themed series.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a running list of Oscar predictions.
I saw that
on there, so don't have every category up and going just yet, but there's a good amount of them. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Oscars page looks really, really good, and I really like the way that, even though as I said in Patreon, I'm not a big Oscar prognosticator, but it's that's stuff that I could get really lost in. So yeah, and I know that you're a huge fan of that kind of stuff, the award season stuff, so
this is true.
Well done. Yeah. So where can we find The Movie State on the internet?
Themoviestate.com.
Nice.
I was, I guess I joined Twitter.
If I had the time and the inclination, I would go back on to one of your first episodes of Obsessive Viewer where you said I will never have Twitter.
It probably wasn't that long ago.
No.
And I don't know. I mean, things are going great so far.
Yeah.
I just hope that this isn't some kind of app where bad people have bad opinions or it's a bad thing for people's mental health.
Oh yeah, it will be. But but no, I thought it was funny because you are very adamant. You have been very adamant about pizza jumping on the table.
Yeah. And she just did it.
She did, yeah. But no, you've been very adamant about not joining Twitter and everything. And then like when you join Twitter and everything, I put like a notification thing on there. So anytime you tweet, I see it so that I can retweet and everything and like your posts. And like, I'm just seeing like all of these tweets coming through. I'm like, okay, Ben's one of us now. So yeah, so follow
just gotta get the brand out there.
Exactly. So follow Ben at The Movie State on Twitter. Yeah, well, I'm excited for you. I'm very, very excited because you're probably one of the most prolific like film writers that I know. So it's nice to see you have like your own little playground.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Yeah. Anything else about that? I don't know. I felt like I had another thing. So when are you launching your podcast?
Oh boy. Nobody wants to hear that.
Oh, you never know.
We'll see how popular the website gets first.
Okay.
And then if the people demand it, then we'll make it happen.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, today on this podcast, we are going to be talking about a bunch of movies that we've been watching in the run-up to the end of the year. We're both members of the Indiana Film Journalists Association, so we are on the cusp of doing the awards season kind of stuff, and we're about to meet with the group. It's going to be your first time meeting with the group for the awards season selection and everything. So we have devised this episode to just kind of go back and forth about certain movies that we've watched lately in preparation for the end of the year. And yeah, we have a list of about 10 movies, I think, between the two of us. And I'm very excited because
it could be longer, folks.
Oh, it could be much longer. Like, just check our Letterboxd accounts. It's insane. And like, I'm personally pretty proud of myself because I feel like I'm making up for lost time, because last year I had COVID right at this time of year and I could not focus on anything. Like I thought for a second when I got it, I was like, okay, well, maybe it's a week or two away from when we meet for the awards. So at least I'll be able to just like lay on the couch and just watch screeners and watch movies all day, every day until the meeting. And then I had like 103-degree fever and chills and migraines and everything. And I was just like, I literally cannot focus on anything. I hate the movie Tenet because that's the only movie that I was able to watch while I had COVID, and I hated it. So yeah. So anyway, so I'm making up for lost time, and I'm watching a lot of movies at the end of the year, and yeah. So I'm really excited, and that's part of why I've been pumping out so many Patreon potpourri things on Patreon at the $5 level. Ben, how has your first year as a member of the IFJ been in terms of award season, prepping for the meeting?
It's been pretty fantastic.
Nice.
I haven't really felt a ton of pressure to crunch in a bunch of movies because I feel like I've done a good enough job of watching new releases like as they come out.
Yeah.
So I haven't, I know we were just talking about this, not you and I, but it was in one of the email chains about some people like to cram at the last minute, and then some people just like to stay up to date as the year goes on. I am one of the second group. So
nice.
But yeah, it's been really great. I have watched 103 movies from 2021 so far.
Nice. Wow.
Although I'm counting The Father. I'm making an executive decision.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm counting that as a 2021 movie.
Interesting.
So, because I was not a IFJ member for 2020. So
Okay, that's fair. I have watched 65 2021 releases.
Okay.
And a considerable amount of those. What's 4 times 6?
24.
24. So like 21 of those have been in the last like few weeks, or in the last month, I would say.
Okay.
But yeah, it's something. Yeah. Oh, I forgot that I canceled my Stitcher Premium. Anyway, So yeah, it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time, and it's interesting because I'm usually someone who, at least previous to 3 years ago, I like the holiday season and I like Christmas and everything, but I feel like I can't watch any Christmas movies or anything until after the meeting. So
right.
And
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's been a couple that have come out that I kind of want to check out. Like, there are 3 that I want to see that I don't think are good, but I think they're all on Disney Plus. No, one is on HBO Max. I want to see 8-Bit Christmas.
Okay.
And on Disney Plus, I want to see Home Sweet Home Alone.
Oh,
I want to see it as an experiment.
Oh.
Like, I want to see just how terrible it really is. I want to see that.
I can bring over some edibles for you if that would help.
I will definitely keep that in mind. And then the third movie this is such a weird reason, and then we'll get into the actual potpourri here, but this movie called Christmas Again. And there's a specific reason why I want to see that movie. It's basically Groundhog Day with Christmas.
Oh boy.
And it's a new release. It's on Disney Plus, but back in like 99, 98, there was an ABC Family original movie called Christmas Every Day that I watched every year, and I loved it dearly. And I can never find it anywhere, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to see what these people did with this concept, this super clever concept of Groundhog Day. But yeah, so I'm kind of curious about that.
Did you ever watch last year the Hulu movie Happiest Season?
I didn't, but I need to. I really want to.
I think you would like that.
Yeah.
It's a pretty standard rom-com Christmas movie, but
yeah,
it's got good parts. Mary
Nice.
Holland is in it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think, did she co-write it as well?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to see that. It just slipped through my finger.
Oh, and Alison Brie's in it too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice. I know it's K-Stew and oh God.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her name
now either. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty solid.
It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, there are 2 things that I love is Mackenzie Davis. It's Christmas movies and rom-coms, so can't really go wrong there. So you might say that those are 2 things that I love actually. It's Christmas and rom-coms. So today on the show, we're going to be doing extended potpourri, and this is exciting because we have a lot of movies and pizza is being disruptive. So do you mind if I get us kicked off? I have a list here. I don't know if you want to go in this order or not, but I'll send you a screenshot.
Go for it.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to bring up is a movie that is going to be on Amazon Video. It's an Amazon original. It's Aaron Sorkin writing and directing his new movie, Being the Ricardos. And this movie, I'm going to try to discreetly bring up the plot summary, but it's basically about, God, why is this not? My phone is very much frustrating. Frustrating me. Being the Ricardos. Okay, so it stars Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem. Follows Lucy and Desi as they face a crisis that could end their careers and another that could end their marriage. It is coming out December 10th on Amazon, I believe. And stars Nicole Kidman as Lucille Ball, Javier Bardem as Desi Arnaz, Nina Arianda as Vivian Vance, and J.K. Simmons as William Frawley. Written and directed by Aaron Sorkin. So, Ben,
sorry, correction. It's coming to theaters on December 10th.
Oh, there we go.
Amazon Prime in it might be New Year's Eve.
Oh, you're right. Yep, my bad. So December 10th, theater, December 21st,
right.
Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, my bad. So it's a movie. I don't know that I really care for Aaron Sorkin anymore. I mean, it's interesting because if you go back to the beginning of this podcast, in the very beginning in 2013, please don't go back there. We were big fans of Aaron Sorkin at the beginning, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know. I think my tastes have changed and I've grown. But he is just very, very just surface level to me in a weird way. And being the Ricardos is no different. It just seems like it seems like the classic Aaron Sorkin thing where he just has characters trying to out clever each other in every scene. And because of that, it's him constantly fighting himself for his dialogue to be just absolutely pristine. And in the I don't know what phrase I'm looking for. Wow. As a result of that, it just turns into them trying to out clever each other and them just not speaking like human beings.
Right.
And the emotional aspect of it falls by the wayside a little bit. And this is no different. And I'm going to put in my Letterboxd review, I'm going to say that, Aaron Sorkin still cannot write a romantic relationship worth a damn, and this proves that he can't direct one either. But having said that, Nicole Kidman is really good as Lucille Ball, and I really enjoyed Javier Bardem. But there are some certain aspects to it that it seems like weirdly, it doesn't make sense necessarily why, there's some cuts in the, not cuts in the narrative, but cuts in the timeline. There are flashbacks throughout it that it's like it's telling it in a nonlinear way, but it's a little hard to discern when we are and everything in the story. And it's just kind of, I don't know, it just didn't have like an emotional resonance for me. Despite looking good and the performances being pretty solid. You haven't had a chance to see this yet, have you?
No, I was either going to watch that or one of the other movies that we'll talk about tonight, and I chose the other one. But I will watch it this week. I'm hoping to watch it and write a review for the site in time for the theatrical release. Nice. It's kind of funny that you say that about the screenplay, because I remember we talked about it and how this didn't really feel like a typical Sorkin project. Yeah. And it's kind of funny how you say that it still kind of fits the mold of the Sorkin
absolutely.
Ethos.
Here's the thing. Sorkin movies are basically Sorkin writing a character as a vessel for himself. Yeah. And how he is the most genius person in the room of idiots. And like, this is no different. Like, Lucille Ball is painted as this genius person, which by all accounts she could have been. I don't know the history of I Love Lucy or anything, but she has a lot of input into what works and what doesn't work in the show. And like, that's great, but it's Sorkin writing it, and you just know that it's Sorkin being Sorkin. It's Sorkin using Lucille Ball as a vessel for Sorkin in his movie, and it just feels very hollow, and it doesn't feel like it has really much of anything to do with Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz as much as it has for Aaron Sorkin's ego. And that's just, it doesn't work for me, because I think that he's very cold in his writing, and he doesn't have that emotional kind of connection to the characters that he never really has. Like, I mean, with Studio 60, I'm still annoyed at that show because it made a sketch comedy show seem like they were trying to save the freaking world. But it was very forward thinking, or it was very ballsy of them to make a sketch comedy show that wasn't funny, that didn't have any comedy in it.
It was very brave.
Yes, very brave.
I've heard that J.K. Simmons is pretty good in this.
He is. He's very good, because he's J.K. Simmons.
When is he not good?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's great. There are scenes where he's talking, especially toward the end of the movie, where I would just sit there and listen to him talk for hours on end. It wouldn't matter. Like, his voice is just so soothing and perfect. Nice. Yeah. So yeah, that's my brief first one, being the Ricardos. It's going to be on Amazon Prime, December 21st, and in theaters December 10th. And, I don't really recommend it. I, don't remember what I rated it. Oh, I haven't rated it yet, but I'm probably going to give it 2.5 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
Yeah, just didn't really work for me. I will say that it is kind of beautiful in the way that it shows the kind of classic television sets and that era of television, but other than that, it doesn't really work. And there are a couple of scenes where, like, I mean, I guess technically it is appropriate or it is period appropriate because of the time, but like there are two things where I'm like, wait, did they just say that? Because there's a scene where Lucille Ball says, "Don't gaslight me," and I'm like, did the term gaslighting really was that really prominent in 1952?
Right.
Because it's based on the movie Gaslight, which is from like 46, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, was it really in the cultural lexicon then? And then he also mentions like the Tony Hale. Tony Hale does a pretty good job in it, by the way. But he plays the executive producer of the show, and he said like he has an argument with Lucille Ball, and he's like, "I'm the showrunner," and I'm like, "Well, hang on, let's pump the brakes." I don't know if showrunner was really a term back in 1952. Like, I don't know, just like those two instances, those are very minor. They do not factor into my enjoyment or disapproval of the movie, but I just like, it gave me pause. I'm like,
it took you out of it.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Not really. I was just like, okay, Sorkin. Okay,
right.
Fine. But 2.5 out of 5 stars. Wasn't really a fan.
Okay.
So that means the Academy is going to love it.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know if I liked, no, I liked the Trial of the Chicago 7 more.
Interesting.
Yeah. But even then, like, I came away from the Trial of the Chicago 7 enjoying it, but then it slipped from my mind after that. It didn't really have any lasting appeal for me.
Okay.
So what's your first potpourri on this episode, Ben?
I will talk about the new Paul Schrader movie, The Card Counter.
Nice.
Which I believe we've both watched.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This is how it starts. I don't know, an idea or whatever.
Give me one moment to pull up the plot description.
Yeah, The Card Counter is his follow-up to... no, he actually did a movie in between this and...
First
Reformed. Like, he did
really?
like a straight-to-DVD kind of thing. Like, I don't know, he has a very interesting filmography, and I'm really just trying to vamp so that you can get to the plot summary. But yeah, it's really interesting.
Guess he did.
Yeah.
Dark?
Yeah,
Okay.
Some like generic straight to streaming thing or something.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, so plot description. William Tell just wants to play cards. His Spartan experience on the casino trail is shattered when he is approached by Kirk, a vulnerable and angry young man seeking help to execute his plan for revenge on a military colonel. Tell seeks a chance at redemption through his relationship with Kirk, but keeping Kirk on the straight and narrow proves impossible, dragging Tell back into the darkness of his past.
Yes.
So this stars Oscar Isaac and Tiffany Haddish and Ty Sheridan and Willem Dafoe, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Written and directed by Paul Schrader. And I really like this.
Nice.
I was kind of blown away.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked First Reformed. I don't know. I don't think this is better than First Reformed, but I think it's as good as First Reformed. But I really liked it. I really liked Oscar Isaac. I really liked the directing. There's some really interesting camera choices.
Yeah.
I really like how it's written. It's really subtle and really, I like the themes that it's working with.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I really get Paul Schrader as a director. I don't know. Like, this movie felt like it was, it felt like it was basically him just redoing First Reformed to an extent, at least in tone.
It is, yeah. The tone is very similar. Like, even right down to there's a Oscar Isaac does a voiceover and writes in a journal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm just like, okay, you're just doing the same thing basically, but despite that, I mean, Oscar Isaac, I mean, he is incredible. He is just incredible. And there's like one scene where he and Ty Sheridan are at a diner. Yes. And he's describing what it's like overseas. And the camera is just zooming in on him the whole time. And he is just giving like the most incredible performance I've seen in that movie. And it's so good. So even though it's Paul Schrader doing a lot of the same things that Paul Schrader did in First Reformed, it's still compelling enough. So I don't know. How did you feel about it overall?
Yeah, I really liked it. I also really liked the camera work. Like, Oscar Isaac's character was in prison because he was a interrogator, I guess, or an assistant interrogator or something at Abu Ghraib, and the scenes that are in Abu Ghraib are really incredibly filmed. Yeah, I guess it's like a fisheye lens.
It's like a double fisheye lens,
but it's crazy. It's like a psychedelic experience, which kind of fits. Yeah. But it's so visually impressive. I don't know of any other filmmaker that would have made that choice. Yeah, it was crazy.
And I feel like a lot of those scenes were like all one extended take. Through the hallways and through the corridors and stuff. It just looked really, really impressive. Yeah. And just really disturbing too. Yes. Yeah. So that was good. I liked the movie overall pretty well. I will say that I don't think Ty Sheridan seems like a good kid. But man, throughout the movie, I was like, he is struggling to keep up with Oscar Isaac. Like, he is struggling hardcore. His performance just really didn't do much for me. It was a little too subdued and didn't have enough beneath the surface for me.
See, he didn't really stick out too much to me. What did was Tiffany Haddish, unfortunately. Oh, yeah. I don't know, maybe it was just like her line deliveries just felt a little stiff, I guess. Yeah. But I don't know. She didn't totally work for me.
Yeah, it did seem. I don't know. She was fine. Right. But yeah. Some of her line delivery.
She didn't have a whole lot to do, but
no. You know. And also some of it was a little bit. I guess I don't know if I would characterize it as comic relief, but she had a lot of the like kind of quippy lines, and I feel like that giving her those lines is a little bit. I don't want to say distracting because I mean she, her bread and butter is comedy films, but I mean if she's going to be in a drama, like give her drama, right? It just seems a little bit pointless to kind of make her be the kind of comic relief, if you want to call it that, in this very dark and dour movie, right? Yeah.
But I think this is an excellent screenplay. And I remember vaguely, like, when this came out in September, maybe?
Yeah, September.
We had briefly talked about potentially talking about it on the podcast. Yeah. But it just, like, wasn't available at all to see here in Indy. Yeah. And it was really frustrating. It was, like, one, maybe two theaters. Yeah. And
for, like, 2 weekends, I think.
Right. And, like, maybe 2, maybe 3 screenings a day. Yeah. And it's I just got like so mad once I saw it because like why aren't more people talking about this? This is a major studio film starring Oscar Isaac and Paul Schrader directing, and it should be a bigger deal than it is. And it's like it just got like dumped in the middle of September. And I don't know. I wish it got a bigger release than what it got.
Yeah, me too. And hopefully award season is kind to it because I think that at the very least, Oscar Isaac is just incredible. I think he does such a fine job in the movie. Yeah. And I do think the script, I agree with you. The script is very, very good, even though it is a little too reminiscent in style to First Reformed. I mean, it's still a style that worked. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. Any other thoughts on First Reform 2, the card counter?
No, I don't think so. I think I saw that it is coming to Redbox, I think on the 14th.
Oh,
so
nice.
if people haven't seen it yet, I would highly recommend renting it, or I think you can do like the freaking $20 rental or whatever right now, but no hard feelings if you want to wait until it's cheaper.
Yeah, I definitely I recommend checking it out if you can.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, should I continue with my next pick?
Go for it.
Okay, so my next pick is the Pablo Larraín directed, Stephen Knight written by film. That's a weird way to introduce it. Spencer. So, plot summary is, during her Christmas holidays with the royal family at the Sandringham estate in Norfolk, England, Diana Spencer, struggling with mental health problems, decides to end her decade-long marriage to Prince Charles. It stars Kristen Stewart as Princess Diana, Timothy Spall as Major Alistair Gregory, and a bunch of other people. Jack Farthing as Prince Charles, Sean Harris as Darren. So this is
Sally Hawkins.
Sally Hawkins as Maggie. And then, and Stella Gunnett as the Queen. Okay, so Spencer. This is a movie that I did not have high expectations for all that much. I did not see Pablo Larraín's movie Jackie, but I did watch all of his episodes of Lisey's Story on Apple TV Plus for Tower Junkies, and I really love his style. Like he just the visual styles that he uses is just very, very evocative. And Spencer is a very good movie. It's funny. I had this moment where I was watching it, and then as soon as Kristen Stewart spoke her first line of dialogue, I was like, wait, she's American, right? Like she's from America. Like, and she was born in LA, and she's she does an absolutely remarkable job as Princess Diana.
Yeah.
And what I really liked about this movie was that it wasn't your standard biopic, and like the plot summary says, it's about her struggling with mental health and facing this very big decision point that she's coming to. And it's also this display of her being defiant but fearful against and for or of the traditions of the royal family, and being in this machination of monarchy, and like her fear of that, but her defiance of it, and her just feeling suffocated. And the way that the film has these just very wide shots of the grounds and everything is like such an interesting juxtaposition to her claustrophobia through the movie. And I don't know, I really, really loved, really liked Spencer. So yeah. Have you seen it?
I have.
Okay. What did you think of it?
I will echo what you say about Kristen Stewart. I think she is incredible. I think she is likely going to win the Oscar for Best Actress, and I will be very happy when that happens.
I feel a butt coming on.
No,
nice.
I also did not see Jackie, but from what I understand, this is fairly similar to it.
Okay.
And yeah, I really would like to see Jackie, especially now. But I like, again, that it's not a traditional biopic. I think that would be incredibly boring.
Yeah.
I'm sure that will happen at some point. And from what I've heard, actually, a lot of the details that you get about Diana in this are basically just totally untrue.
Oh yeah.
Like her family living like right next door to this estate.
Interesting.
Just did not happen. And then there were a couple other things, but I can't remember what. But I don't care about that.
Me neither. Like the movie opens with that disclaimer. It's a fable based on a tragedy or something. Yes. And I thought that was very eloquent.
Yeah. That's a fun spin on it.
Yeah.
And I like the kind of nightmare / horror movie vibes of it.
Yeah.
That was a really interesting take on it. Especially like Johnny Greenwood's score is just crazy good.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only issues that I have with it, I think that the script is a little heavy-handed at times in terms of some of the metaphors, you know? Like at the beginning, she's literally lost.
Yeah.
And it's about her, like, you know, trying to rediscover herself, I guess, you know? There's that, and then there's like all the pheasants, the pheasant imagery, and how like the royal family are like shooting them and they're being bred to kill, you know. That's
a good point.
So, you know, that's a little heavy-handed, but again, I'm okay with it, believe it or not. It didn't ruin the movie for me. It, you know, maybe didn't I didn't enjoy it as much as I would have liked to because of that, but you know, like I said, it's not a deal breaker.
Yeah.
What else was I gonna say?
I feel like it ends on such a triumphant note, which I found really interesting.
Yes.
Given the, you know, the tragedy of Princess Diana. I just found that to be interesting.
Yeah. The other kind of like minor issue that I have with it is that her whole thing with her marriage potentially ending doesn't feel totally front and center, you know?
Yeah, it really doesn't.
She has that one scene with him, and that's about it. I mean, she talks a little bit about the woman that he had an affair with, but that's about it, you know? The rest is just like her struggles to fit in with the royal family and how much they don't like her, but you know.
Yeah, I agree. That is a little bit of a problem, or it is a little bit of an issue with the movie. But I think that the fact that the movie does seem to focus on the like I said, the machinations of the monarchy, that in the traditions and like all of the just pomp and circumstance, and how that is completely counter, like how Diana is literally just so over it from the outset.
Right.
I think that creates in it a pretty compelling narrative that I would say almost supplants the, you know, failing marriage kind of thing. But you're right though. It does kind of create this void in it, because like we're introduced to her with her already reaching this decision, already having this information, already knowing what she's going to do. And then we're playing catch up with her. And it's not until, I don't think it's really until like that scene with him that we really get the full picture of what she's doing and what she's thinking.
Yeah.
And so that is a little bit of a detriment to the movie, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, just about everything else about this, I really love.
Nice.
The cinematography is great. The production design's great. The costumes are great.
Yeah,
they're 90s-tastic.
Nice.
The score, yeah. There's you had mentioned the pomp and circumstance of the royal family. There's a really funny visual in the kitchen. There's a sign that says something like keep your voice down or something, they can hear you.
That's right.
And it's I don't know, I just they don't like draw attention to it,
right?
But you see it in the background and it's funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And just the carefulness of them prepping the dinner and everything is just like, okay. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else on Spencer?
No, I don't think so. I really liked it as well. I don't know. I don't think it'll be in my top 10, but it's close. It's up there.
I don't think it'll be in my top 10
I would
either.
still recommend it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely me too. Oh yeah. If only for Kristen Stewart's performance. I think she just was amazing. All right. So Ben, what is your next bit for Potpourri for this episode?
Okay. So I'll talk about the the second Ridley Scott movie from 2021, House of Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pretty excited for this, like from the get-go, before I even really knew anything about it. Like I remember I saw that first press photo of Adam Driver and Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
I guess I should give a plot description about this
if
movie.
you want to. The first Ridley Scott movie of 2021, by the way, was The Last Duel, which I enjoyed quite a bit.
Yeah, same here.
We reviewed it, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, that and what did we review with that?
Mass, I think.
Oh, yeah, Mass. Man. Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so House of Gucci. The true story of how Patrizia Reggiani plotted to kill her husband, Maurizio Gucci, the grandson of renowned fashion designer Guccio Gucci. And so this has Lady Gaga and Adam Driver, Jared Leto, Jeremy Irons, Al Pacino, Salma Hayek for some reason, Jack Houston.
Jack Houston.
Yes.
Nice.
And so, again, I was really excited for this. I watched the trailer several times. And then The Last Duel came out and I got even more excited for it. And man, was I let down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. I've heard pretty bad things, honestly.
You know, I wouldn't say that it's bad. It was just not as great as I was hoping it would be. Okay. It's kind of, you hear that plot description and it doesn't get much more nuanced than that. Like it's your standard, kind of biopic. Okay. I thought this was ironic because I saw this one the same day as I saw Tragedy of Macbeth. Oh, nice. And so they're very similar in style. Like Lady Gaga is very much a Lady Macbeth type of person. She marries into the Gucci family and she talks Adam Driver into basically taking over the family company because it's not totally clear whether she just wants power and money or whether she genuinely loves Adam Driver and wants to see him succeed. That is like one of the biggest issues with the movie is the script is just both cookie cutter and very vague about certain characters' motivations and stuff. And I liked Lady Gaga in this. I think she's really great, but I was kind of let down at the same time because she is, in my opinion, the best part of the movie. Okay, but it's nowhere close to as good as she was in A Star Is Born, in my opinion. Okay. Again, she is very good. I don't know what her chances are for an Oscar nomination, but I would be okay with her getting one. Everyone else is just kind of I think everyone else has pretty much said this already, but it's a very campy kind of
that's what I've heard.
Movie. Lots of dialed up performances, lots of dialed up accents, even from Lady Gaga. Jared Leto is just. I don't know if we have enough time to go into that.
That good, huh?
Oh boy. We'll come back to that. But yeah, Adam Driver is fine. I don't know. Here's my thing about Adam Driver. I think he's fine in this. It's just, I wonder, like, if he has done so much other good stuff that we have just, like, gotten overly familiar with the types of performances that he's given, Yeah. Like, he was pretty good in The Last Duel, but like no one talked about it. And I wonder if it's just because he's been so good in the past.
Wait, you're talking about Adam Driver?
Yes.
Okay, for some reason I thought you were talking about Jared Leto. Okay, yeah.
Very much no.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's fine. Selma Hayek is, I have no idea why she's in this movie. Her character just doesn't make any sense. She's like,
oh yeah,
she's like Lady Gaga's psychic.
Wait,
and
okay,
yeah. And she gets a more important role in the end of it, but it's bonkers.
Oh wow.
But it is very campy in some regards, but it's not campy enough, you know.
Okay.
If they wanted it to be truly silly and over the top, they didn't go hard enough, you know.
Okay.
And I forget who exactly brought this up at the Macbeth screening, but they were saying that this could have worked even better as a miniseries, and I made the point they kind of did that already with the what's his name, Ryan Murphy, the assassination of Giuliani Versace.
Oh, okay, yeah,
that
the
one
American Crime Story.
Yes,
yeah.
They kind of tread that ground already.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I guess the best part about House of Gucci is the memes that have come out from it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen any of those.
I think I've seen a couple of them.
Mostly about Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Have you? Okay, so I'm going to show you a meme that I screenshotted from this. Okay. But I want you first to pull up Jared Leto in House of Gucci. Pull up a photo of him.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, I'll read one of the other. This is a tweet that I saw. Don't know how else to describe Jared Leto's performance in House of Gucci other than the first case of a white actor performing in whiteface. And
that's good.
I gotta agree with that one.
That's Jared Leto.
Yes. So I'll go ahead.
Okay.
I'll show you the photo of this meme that I found.
Oh, that is awesome. God damn it. It's a Coach whatever from Big Mouth.
Yeah, Coach Steve.
Coach Steve. Oh, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And once you see the movie, you will 100% agree with that.
Okay. I don't know why the images, like the poster for Jared Leto in House of Gucci, like why do I feel like this is a presidential biopic?
Yeah.
Like it looks like an old style, like Founding Fathers, David McCullough, McCullough or whatever, like biopic, not like one of his books. Yeah.
So it was kind of a letdown.
Kind of a Leto down.
Watch The Last Duel instead.
Yeah, The Last Duel is amazing, man. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else on House of Gucci?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I'm probably not going to watch it.
Okay.
I might watch it eventually, but yeah, I've got more important things to watch. This next one is going to be pretty brief. I talked about it in my Patreon Potpourri number 5, which came out today at the $5 level. So it's No Man of God. And the plot summary, courtesy of IMDb, is the complicated relationship that formed between the FBI analyst Bill Hagmaier and serial killer Bundy during Bundy's final years on death row. It was directed by Amber Seeley, written by Kit Lesser, and stars Elijah Wood as Bill Hagmaier, Luke Kirby as Ted Bundy, and Alexa Palladino as Carolyn Lieberman, and Robert Patrick as Roger DePue, and W. Earl Brown as the warden of the prison. And so No Man of God is I'm going to talk very briefly about it, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but I did forget one element of it that I found very confusing. Ben, have you seen this movie?
No.
Okay, so it is available to stream on AMC+. It's not that good. There's nothing there that wasn't already done better in 2019's extremely evil, wickedly, whatever. Oh, God, I can't. Shockingly evil and cruel, whatever that the Zac Efron movie was where he played Ted Bundy. That movie was a lot better. No Man of God purports to be, I guess, sort of about like the crisis of faith that the FBI profiler has when facing Bundy, but also not. It's about the friendship that he forms with Bundy, but it's not. It's about Bundy trying to get an extension on his death row stay, but it's also not. It's very just listless and doesn't really do much. But one of the big points of it, one of the big issues with the movie, or one of the big kind of propellant parts of the movie, is that it's about trying to get Ted Bundy to confess to the crimes that he committed, to the murders and everything. And which is also something that was handled in the Zac Efron movie, but that's neither here nor there. But in this movie, it's about Bill Hagmaier trying to get that out of him, or getting to a point where he can do that. And there's a point in the movie where it's going to be slightly spoilery, but I don't know. But it's weird. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and spoil a little bit of No Man of God. It's not a good movie. I don't recommend seeing it. So if you want to skip ahead to the next timestamp, go ahead. But I'm going to spoil a little bit of No Man of God. But there's a point toward the end of the movie where Ted Bundy's like, I'm going to confess to my crimes, and I'm going to only tell Bill Hagmaier about it. In the scene where he tells him this vital information is shot in such a weird way. It's the two men are like, I think they're facing each other. And the way the camera is angled is basically Ted Bundy, Luke Kirby, is telling Elijah Wood, Bill Hagmaier, the information. And when the camera shoots Elijah Wood, it is from an upward angle from, about waist high. And then when it shoots Luke Kirby on the other side, it's about from eye level down to where he is kind of kneeling. And it is very, very much a little heavy-handed at this, but it's very much showing them as almost like it's almost like Ted Bundy is performing fellatio on Bill Hagmaier. And it's just this weird visual thing that I kind of feel like the movie thought it was being really clever and symbolic, but it's also like, okay, you're just, it's a little way too heavy-handed there. Uh-huh. But it was really weird. I was like, what is going on? But other than that, it wasn't a good movie. It did nothing. It really did nothing for me. And I think part of that is also because it spans, I think, a fairly considerable amount of time. And it just kind of breezes past. Like there's a couple, or there's at least one, like, I almost said collage, but like this one, montage. There you go. Thank you. Where it's just them talking and everything. And it's like, I want more of, the actual content. I don't want that to be breezed past it. Mm-hmm. But I've said in my Letterboxd review that it's a Ted Bundy movie that doesn't know what it wants to be. And I kind of stand by that. Okay. So that's No Man of God. It's on AMC Plus, but you'll probably have a better time watching pretty much anything else, I would say. That's really all I have to say about that. I just wanted to say that about the weird camera angles in the finale, because I forgot to mention that in my Patreon potpourri. Very weird, very weird. Did you have any interest in this movie?
No.
Okay. Do you have any interest in it now?
No.
Yeah.
I briefly considered watching it because there was the potential to interview Elijah Wood and or Luke Kirby, but I did not, number one, neither one of them is going to ever want to talk to me. Right. Number two, I didn't have time.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
I hear you. So that's No Man of God. Unfortunately, not that good. Ben, what do you have next?
All right. So I'll talk about it's a Netflix movie, written and directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. It's called The Lost Daughter. Plot synopsis: a woman's seaside vacation takes a dark turn when her obsession with a young mother forces her to confront secrets from her past. So this is the writing and directorial debut from Maggie Gyllenhaal. It's coming to Netflix. I believe it comes to theaters on the 17th first, and then Netflix probably 2 weeks later or something.
Probably.
Starring Olivia Colman and Jessie Buckley and Dakota Johnson, Ed Harris, Peter Sarsgaard, Paul Mescal. And I just watched this last night as we're recording this. And it's very interesting. I think Olivia Colman and Jessie Buckley are fantastic.
Nice.
Some of the best performances of the year. I think it's a really interesting subject. I think there are stretches of this where it's really great. But there are certain plot elements that just had me, that were just a little too much, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Because it goes, Olivia Colman, it goes back and forth from Olivia Colman in the present day. She is on this vacation, I think in Greece. Excuse me. And she's a professor, and she's just like trying to, it's like a working holiday. So, teachers never really get a break.
Right.
So she's working a lot on the beach, and, and then she runs into Dakota Johnson and her kind of group, who is this kind of like partying, very loud, kind of obnoxious kind of group. And Dakota Johnson soon reminds her of her younger self. And so it goes back and forth between flashbacks and the present day. And Jessie Buckley plays her younger self.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And just her struggles as a mother who was often left to do it all on her own. And her struggles to really like find herself and make something of herself without, while stepping out of being a mother, being more than just a mother. So I think that is really interesting, and it's that aspect of it is really well done. But it really plays into that, seeing Olivia Colman seeing something in Dakota Johnson of herself, and really, wanting to not have her make the same mistakes as she did, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't know. I think I will watch it again before I write a review.
Yeah.
Which I'll hopefully have one up on the website when it's closer to the release date.
By the way, it hits Netflix December 31st.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think the limited release in theaters is going to be the 17th.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I think it will play really well. We kind of talked in Patreon about Belfast and how that is a perfect movie for my mom.
Yeah.
But I feel like this, not only because she's a mom, but I feel like my mom would like this one as well. So like I said, there are some really great aspects of it. And maybe if I watch it again, I'll appreciate them even more. But and then Maggie Gyllenhaal does a pretty solid job of directing.
Nice.
There's some really interesting camera choices, some really interesting story decisions. But yeah.
Nice. How were the performances overall? Like, who was the standout? Because I really like Dakota Johnson and Jessie Buckley and Olivia Colman, obviously.
Yeah, they're all fantastic. Honestly, and maybe this probably speaks to my face blindness with Dakota Johnson, but I had completely forgotten that she was in this movie until the credits rolled.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, Olivia Colman is fantastic. I mean, it's going to be hard to top Kristen Stewart this year, but she's pretty close behind.
Nice.
I'd be interested to get your take on it, because I think we're both Olivia Colman fans on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and then I would say we're also Jessie Buckley fans on this podcast.
Yeah, I honestly don't think I knew that she was in the movie until fairly recently, and I mean, because like I loved Jessie Buckley in My movie of the year last year. I'm thinking of ending things.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought she was phenomenal in that.
You still haven't seen Wild Rose yet, have you?
I did.
Oh,
And
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she was great in that.
Yes. I loved her in that. I need to watch that again.
Me too.
Yeah, she's just as good here.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, she has some really meaty scenes in this. So I am glad that she was in it.
Nice.
She's really good.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. Yeah, it's definitely on my list.
Okay.
Shall I go on to my next one?
Go for it.
Okay. I'm going to talk about The Eyes of Tammy Faye. This movie is an intimate look at the extraordinary rise, fall, and redemption of televangelist Tammy Faye Bakker. It stars Jessica Chastain as Tammy Faye Bakker, Andrew Garfield as Jim Bakker, Cherry Jones, Vincent D'Onofrio playing Jerry Falwell, and a bunch of other people in the movie. And it's directed by Michael Showalter, who is a director that I really like, and I love him in Wet Hot American Summer, of course. But I mean, I loved The Big Sick, and oh god, what was that movie? Hello, My Name is Doris, I think. Did he do that?
He did The Lovebirds last year, which I never saw.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? Oh, that's a bummer. Not that I didn't like it. I thought it was fine, but yeah, he did Hello, My Name is Doris, and I really liked that.
Okay.
With, I think, was it Sally Field? Yeah, but anyway, I have a very complicated relationship with The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I thought that it was not great. And I think it's because I just have this grudge or this bias or this prejudice against televangelism and like this type of just very phony Christian who is like by and large, televangelism is about bilking people out of their money.
Right.
Like that is 100% what it is. And the movie presents Tammy Faye Bakker as this innocent, somewhat of an innocent bystander to Jim Bakker's philandering and his money, embezzling and everything and his crimes. And I feel like that is, for all the good that the movie paints Tammy Faye Bakker to be, because it does go to certain lengths to talk about how she was a friend to LGBTQ people and how she went on to work within the LGBT community and everything, and that's admirable. That's great. That's fine, but I feel like to paint her as sympathetic as this movie does, when by definition what they were doing is there is no way that she wasn't at least complicit in bilking people out of their money. And like just to paint it in a way that seems like she is just genuinely wanting to help people feels a little bit disingenuous. And it might be that I have a bias going into it or prejudice going into it, but I just feel like I feel like you can paint a monster in as good a light as you can, but at the end of the day, they're still doing something that is wrong. Like it is objectively wrong. And to ignore that or to give them a pass for that, I feel like is just not within my moral compass or anything. So I just had some pretty intense thoughts about that. And to say that I thought Andrew Garfield, as much as I like him as an actor, I think he was miscast. I think.
Oh.
Yeah, well, maybe not miscast. I think what I enjoyed about the movie was that it presents the story of Tammy Faye Bakker through this prism of self-delusion, and it creates kind of one of the shortcomings and one of the unique aspects of the movie is that it takes that very like high energy, phony televangelist persona and applies it to everything in the movie. Like this is like a dream world of the televangelist world. And like real people don't act like that. And like it's off-putting, but it's also like this heightened reality, and it has this energy to it that seems like it's that it's kind of through this veneer of self-delusion for her. And that's all well and good, but again, at the end of the day, it's ignoring that how complicit she likely was. And this is something that I'm basing on nothing. Like, I just know that in that, like, I just feel like there's a disconnect there for me. And I don't know if that's a bias or prejudice on my part, but what did you think of The Eyes of Tammy Faye?
No, I don't think you're totally wrong there. I think one of the biggest issues with the movie is that it does not pick a side whether she is innocent or not. It just kind of shows these things happening.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple scenes of her like shopping for these extravagant, luxurious clothes, and then showing people around their fabulous house and whatever, and it's not totally clear. Like, and then there's other scenes where she's like confronting Andrew Garfield about like the money, and he's not totally honest or whatever. He's always dodging the question. But I did think that was a pretty big issue with it. I actually liked Andrew Garfield in this. I thought he was really fantastic.
Nice.
He's really funny. And you can really see like how he's very charismatic, so you can really see how he could easily fool stupid people into giving away their money. So
that's fair. I think what I kind of came back to about his performance was that, you know, Andrew Garfield was in Tick Tick Boom and The Eyes of Tammy Faye this year, and he was in one good movie this year. I didn't like The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and I will walk back me saying that he was miscast. I just think that he made choices that was matching the energy of the overall movie, and I think I just wasn't connected to that energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Jessica Chastain?
I think she did okay. It's a fine line to have a character like that be presented as a sympathetic character, and I think that once I tapped into the idea of it being about self-delusion, like that performance she gives at the end where it's like it cuts between her actual performance and like this very big production performance. That's when I was like, oh, this is about self-delusion. This is about her having this inflated idea of who she is and what she can be and everything, and how that ropes her into all of these shenanigans and crimes and everything. And morally ambiguous kind of scenarios and stuff. And like that kind of I connected to that a little bit, but then, I mean, I just think that, I think she did okay. Yeah.
I really liked her.
Nice.
I think it's between her and Kristen Stewart for me.
Oh, wow.
Best actress. And I think, not to get all Oscar-y on it on this, but I think that's what it's going to go down to at the Oscars between her and Kristen Stewart.
Nice. Check out themoviestay.com.
Yeah. But I think this is a very different performance from what Kristen Stewart does. I think it's a lot more energetic.
Yeah.
A lot more transformative. Obviously, like she is unrecognizable underneath all of the makeup and the hair and all of the costumes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more committed, I feel like, to who she was, and so I really liked her performance in that.
Nice.
There's also so this was the first screening that I went to after recovering from COVID.
Oh yeah.
And so I saw it in kind of a packed theater.
Okay.
And there's a really funny cut. I forget when exactly it is, but Tammy Faye takes like some kind of over the counter, or not over the counter, like prescription meds, like Lexapro, or I don't know, some kind of antidepressant or something. She takes a bunch of them, and there's a cut where she's like live on TV, and she's like zonked out of her mind.
Oh yeah,
and it was really funny. That got a big laugh at the screening that I was at. So
nice.
I remembered that. That was really good.
Nice.
But yeah, I agree with you. It is kind of all over the place. The other thing I'll say is I really liked Cherry Jones as Tammy Faye's mom.
Yeah, she was solid.
Yeah.
I like her as an actress in general, but yeah, she was good. She was the one she was kind of like for me as an audience member, me specifically, my specific point of view, like she was a vessel for that.
She was playing the Matt Hertz of the crowd.
Pretty much, yeah. But she did good. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was just okay overall, if not just kind of bad. Yeah. Yep. Do you want to go to your next one?
Sure.
Okay, I'm very excited, or I'm very curious what you thought of this movie, because I noped out of it after 30 minutes. Go ahead, Ben, with your next pick for Potpourri.
My pick is the movie of the year, Titane.
Oh.
Little superfluous there, but anyway, Matt's wrong. Directed and written by Julia Ducournau. Plot synopsis. Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm very curious what the plot synopsis is.
Following a series of unexplained crimes, a former firefighter is reunited with his son who has been missing for 10 years. That is sort of accurate.
Yeah.
Because this movie kind of defies explanation. But stars Agatha Roussel, I think is how you pronounce it. Vincent Linden. That's pretty much who you need to worry about.
Before you go on, did you ever see the filmmaker's previous movie, Raw?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw it earlier, like after she won the Palme d'Or for this.
Okay. After Spike Lee spoiled it.
Right. Because I had not seen it before that, so I wanted to familiarize myself, and I liked it. It was pretty bonkers, and then this was on a whole nother level.
Yeah. And see, this is why I'm so fascinated by this, because I don't know if I would characterize what I saw of Titane or Titane, whatever, Titane, as a horror movie. But it's maybe a thriller, and I would assume that Raw was horror, and like, you are not a horror guy.
Right.
And so I was very curious when I saw your rating for Titane, because holy crap, what am I missing, man?
The rest of the movie.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. It's literally a movie that I could not stomach.
Sure.
I was too grossed out by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how was it?
It is easily the most insane movie of the year. Maybe the most insane movie I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
Or at least in a long time. Granted, I don't think I've seen any Cronenberg movies, so that might change once I do that. But yeah, this movie is insane. Insane in a good way, I would say.
Okay.
But there is some insane shit that goes on in this movie that just defies logic, explanation, human reasoning, all of that. But it is a really interesting way to explore the things that Julia Ducournau has in mind.
Okay.
Like self-acceptance is a big theme. Body acceptance, body, I guess, body positivity, family, I guess. It's a movie about cars that's about family.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just, could there have been a more palatable way to explore these things? Maybe, but this there are scenes in this movie that will stick with me for a long time, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That being said, I don't know if it'll make my top 10, but I think it is one of, if not the most unforgettable movie of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, so that, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna give it another shot. I just can't. The scenes I saw it was too much. It was just too much for me. Yeah, I can't do it.
Well, sorry to spoil it for you, but the ending, Stephen King walks in.
Oh.
And they just talk to him for like half an hour.
Oh, okay.
And he he spoils the next 10 books that he is writing. So
okay, well, I definitely won't see it.
I think I can understand its detractors, people who don't agree with, and I think there are even some of these people in the IFJA, people who don't agree with its themes and the ways that it portrays them, but it worked for me. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like all of those themes are good. Like I'm on board with that. The way that it was done, I can't. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too oversensitive about like imagery in like horror or genre movies. But it's just like, I don't know. It was just, maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind. But yeah, it just, I couldn't handle it.
I also think like Agatha Roussel and Vincent Lindon give really, really good performances.
Nice.
In, again, a very different way from Kristen Stewart or Jessica Chastain or Olivia Colman, but she gives a really incredible performance. Like I don't think this movie would work without that kind of performance. And Vincent Lindon, his character, he like you think that he's going one way and then he goes a completely different way, and it's all just really captivating. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, maybe. I just couldn't do it. Yeah. All right. Well, anything more on Titane or Titane? I had tweeted that I got about 20 minutes into Titane and not my cup of motor oil. Yeah, I just couldn't do it.
I will say also, it looks incredible. Like I really love the cinematography in this.
Yeah,
the lighting is just crazy good. Yeah. So I'm very excited for what Julia Ducournau does next.
Nice. Awesome. Well, that makes one of us. Just not my cup of tea.
Remind me again. You did see Raw?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I did not.
Okay.
Specifically because it sounded like it was gross.
Yeah, there are some gross parts to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely nothing on this level.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, my next movie, this will be brief, and then we can kind of start winding down a little bit. But this will be my last one, and it's something that you brought up in Potpourri in a fairly recent episode, I think.
Heartland.
Oh, it was the Heartland episode. Yes, that's right. It's a Petite Maman, the new Celine Sciamma movie. It was at Heartland, and you watched it through Chicago Film Festival.
Yep.
Yeah. But I'll read the plot summary. Nellie has just lost her grandmother and is helping her parents clean out her mother's childhood home. She explores the house and the surrounding woods. One day she meets a girl her same age building a tree house. So this movie just kind of blew me away in such a big way. It is a beautiful, beautiful movie about the relationship between a mother and her daughter, and it's told in such a unique fashion. Since it's kind of spoiled in the plot summary, it has some fantastical elements of it. It puts the mother and daughter in a position to where they can communicate with each other in a very unique, almost science fiction kind of way. And by doing that, it creates this even ground for them. It is so interesting. And especially when you have these two very young actresses that are communicating to each other and talking to each other and playing off of each other. I think they're twin sisters, or they're sisters.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But it is remarkable how they get, how like Celine Sciamma got this performance from these two actresses that is so just steeped in emotion, and it is diving into the mental health issues of the mother and the abandonment issues of the daughter, and the grief that they both feel, and the grief of losing the grandmother and everything. And just the way that it plays out is just so beautiful. And it's an hour and 12-minute movie too. Like, it's so brief, but it leaves such a lasting impact. It is so, so beautiful. I absolutely adored it. And then I'll get your thoughts on it, but I do want to say that I got into the habit of referring to it as, because it's called Petite Maman, but I got in the habit of referring to it as Petite Maman, which it's French for small mother, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just such a beautiful movie. Celine Sciamma, man, holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely adored Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yes.
And I need to go back and see the rest of her filmography, because I mean, just the way she captures human emotion is like on another level.
Yes.
And with this movie introducing this fantastic element to it, it was jaw-dropping for me. So yeah. So what did you think of Petite Maman? Petite Maman.
No, not that. Yeah, I mean, how the hell do you top Portrait of a Lady on Fire? Yeah. But yeah, this is just an incredible follow-up. I did not know what to expect going into it, but I just went into it because, we both loved Portrait of a Lady on Fire. So I think this is incredible. I actually rewatched it. I think we might have actually watched it the same night.
Oh, yeah.
But I watched it a second time, and I don't know, maybe I was just like too keyed into, like, I knew it was going to happen. So I think I was a little less enthusiastic about it, but
okay.
I don't know. I need to watch it again.
Interesting.
But I think, to her credit, like, this is one of those movies where you just kind of want to just live in this world for as many times as possible. Like, not because there's more to unlock with it, or there's, hidden themes or whatever, but it's just such a realistic, just understated kind of world. And it's doing this thing that I've never, like, it's a very familiar subject about grief, but it's done in such a unique, special way that I've never seen done before, that it's incredible. And I don't know, maybe this is part of why I liked it a little bit less the second time. But I feel like so many movies these days are either about grief or trauma in one way or another, that I don't know, but again, this is just so unique and so special that I loved what she was doing.
Yeah, absolutely. This is in two just out of this world child performances.
Yes.
Like, it is,
like, when you think of that, the girl who has to play her mother, and just like she has to play someone who is both older but is still a kid at the same time.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's not something that you necessarily notice at first.
Right.
But
and just some of the dialogue. Oh, my God.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Like, there's a moment where, and I think I said this on my Patreon potpourri for it, but where the mother character says, you're not responsible for my sadness or something like that. And like the power of those words is just absolutely incredible. Like it is just phenomenal. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. This may change like tomorrow or next week or whatever, but this is at or near the top of my list for the year.
Me too.
Yep. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think that Neon has given this a release date yet.
I couldn't find anything.
Yeah. I think I saw somewhere that they're showing it in like super limited release in like Brooklyn or something in December. But beyond that, who knows? But I really hope that people are able to see it once it is released, whenever that is.
Me too. Because it is incredibly powerful. Just I was trying to look at a release date, but I can't. Absolutely beautiful. It's Petite Maman. And do you want to round us out with your final piece of potpourri, which is a movie that if you follow the list, I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what this movie is.
This is another weird French movie.
Okay. Wow.
Kind of on a theme here at the end. So the last one that I'll bring up is called Mandibles, and it's written and directed by Quentin Dupieux, who I pretty much wanted to see this because he wrote and directed a movie from last year called Deerskin, which I really, really liked, starring Jean Dujardin and Adele Haenel from Portrait of the Lady on Fire.
Oh yeah, nice.
So that was pretty much what drew me to this, and so Quentin Dupieux is this French comedic director and writer who just writes and directs these weird, just off the wall bonkers movies. Like Deerskin was about a guy who gets a deerskin jacket and it makes him go crazy and convinces him to destroy every other jacket in the world and start killing people.
Okay.
It's so funny. So Mandibles plot description: two simple-minded friends discover a giant fly in the trunk of a car and decide to domesticate it to earn money with it.
Okay.
So kind of in that same vein as Deerskin. Again, this is a pretty short movie, 77 minutes.
Okay.
Stars Gregoire Ludig. Sorry, I'm gonna butcher these names.
Yeah.
David Marseille, Adele Exarchopoulos. Sorry. She was in the other Palme d'Or winner, Blue is the Warmest Color.
I never saw that, but I've heard great things.
Yeah, same here.
Nice.
But anyway, so this I liked Deerskin better than this, for the record. I still think it's just a funny, dumb, stupid comedy, but it's the comedy bits are just really funny. It's these two morons who, like I said, find this giant fly and try to train it like a dog and try to make money with it. And just every opportunity they have, they do the dumbest possible thing. I've heard people say that it's kind of like the French Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
So there's some really funny bits, and
Nice.
of course, like one of the understated parts of this is like at no point does anybody question like why there's a giant fly.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Nice.
Like I said, I still like Deerskin a little bit better, but this is still, kind of in the same vein and still pretty solid, pretty funny, and also pretty short comedy. And I believe it's on Hulu right now.
Oh, nice.
So, people can check that out if they're interested.
I might have to check it out. That's an interesting one for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, that wasn't on my radar, but it is now. And speaking of on our radars, so we're about a week before nominations close for IFJ, 2 weeks from the meeting and everything. What is on your short list of movies that you need to watch before those deadlines and before the end of the year? Also, like, what is on your radar?
So, there isn't a whole lot that I have missed as of right now. I think I'm gonna watch Being the Ricardos. I'm gonna watch I'm still waiting to see if I can get a screener for this, or maybe I'll have to see it in the theater. Come On, Come On.
Oh yeah, me too.
The Mike Mills director, starring Joaquin Phoenix. I've heard he's really good. I've heard the kid in that, I think his name is like Woody Norman.
Okay.
I've heard that he's really excellent as well.
Nice.
I want to see that. I want to see it's called Red Rocket, directed by Sean Baker, who did the Florida Project, which I really loved. And I've heard good things about that one too.
Nice.
So I think those are the big ones. I don't think there's too many others that I have missed out on right now.
Nice. I have missed out on several, so I have some gaps to fill. I have a list. I'm not going to read all of them or anything, but a few that I know that you're going to go crazy about, I think, is Annette is one. Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
Yep.
Is on my radar. The Green Knight, which I had your Blu-ray for several weeks, and never got around to. Also need to see Bergman Island. The documentary Val. I've heard really good things about Disfluency that was at Heartland.
Yes.
And I need to see The Tragedy of Macbeth. Like, I need to find a way to see that. Finch, I guess. Flea, I've heard good things about. I really want to see Passing on Netflix. There's a documentary on Netflix called Procession that I'm really interested in seeing. And I still need to see The Power of the Dog, which I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. And then and then the big ones: Spider-Man: No Way Home and The Matrix Resurrections. So.
I think you will like Passing.
Nice.
Definitely Barb and Star and The Green Knight.
Nice.
I really liked Power of the Dog. I don't know if you will, but I really liked it, for the record. Tragedy of Macbeth I also really liked. I'll have a review up on the website. I believe it's scheduled to post on the 18th.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. And what else do you have going up on themoviestate.com coming soon?
By the time this episode is out, I will have a review of the new Adam McKay scare quotes comedy, scare quotes satire, from Netflix, which, oh man, I don't know what was the bigger letdown this year, that or what was the other movie we talked
Home
about?
Sweet Home Alone.
Oh yeah, I had high expectations for the straight to Disney Plus unnecessary sequel.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what was the bigger letdown. That Don't Look Up or House of Gucci. But yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard horrible things about Don't Look Up, so I'm going to see it as soon as I can.
Man.
Yeah.
I could go on, but just read my review. I feel like I encapsulated it pretty well.
Nice. Oh, also, both on our radar, tomorrow we're seeing Licorice Pizza, the new P.T. Anderson movie.
Yep.
Which I know nothing about, so I'm excited to go in blind and check it out. All right. Well, congratulations on your website, Ben. TheMovieState.com. Super excited to see all the stuff you're going to have there. Very impressed with the Oscar page. Like even as someone who isn't into the Oscar race or anything, like I'll like look over it and everything. So check that out. TheMovieState.com. Follow him on Twitter at TheMovieState. The long-time detractor of Twitter has joined Twitter.
Yeah, we'll see how long
State.
it lasts.
Yeah. All right. Well, next time on the podcast, I think we're going to have a special episode where we're going to be talking about West Side Story, maybe a little bit about Nightmare Alley and Licorice Pizza with parking lot special recordings. I don't know when that's going to go up. I might try to post that this week as a bonus episode, since it's been so long since you guys have had content from us on the main feed. But other than that, I might do something next week for it. Also, check out Tower Junkies. Tiny and I are going to be reviewing Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, and a couple of Tales from the Dark Side TV show episodes this week, hopefully. So that'll be exciting to get back to Tower Junkies. Yeah, is there anything else that we need to cover, Ben?
I think that just about does it.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. And Ben, thank you for joining me on this episode. And I will see you tomorrow at Licorice Pizza. And yeah, all right, I'm going to go ahead and play us out. There we go, good. All right, well, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next time. And now, here's a short clip from our Patreon exclusive RSS feed. To hear the full clip and more exclusive Patreon content, go to patreon.com/obsessiveviewer and become a patron at the minimum rate of $1 per month. Thank you and enjoy. Ariana DeBose's performance as Anita that really cuts to the emotional core of the movie. And like I said, I rated it 4 stars out of 5. And I also want to mention that the actor Mike Feist, he plays Riff in the movie, and holy crap, is he amazing. Like him and Ariana DeBose are scene stealers all the way. Like I said, her performance as Anita is really, really pivotal to the emotional core of the story, because there are elements of the story where the tragedy comes to play out, and she is kind of at the center of that in a pretty big way, and it really helps to bring this level of character to the struggle between the Sharks and the Jets, and it's really well done. It's incredibly well done. But I do want to mention that this is just stunningly gorgeous. It is one of the best looking films of the year that I've seen.
This podcast was edited and produced by Matt Hurt and presented by ObsessiveViewer.com. You can find links to all of our shows at ObsessiveViewer.com/podcasts. For exclusive bonus content, including reviews, commentaries, and B-roll episodes, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.